Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where I give to you my review for pretty much everything going down in the world of pro wrestling. That includes Monday Night Raw, no NWA Power because it was a recap show for NWA 75. They should be back next week. AEW Dynamite, Impact Wrestling, a little MLW, but it was pretty much a hype show. I'll go over it. And then Ring of Honor, SmackDown, and Rampage. I will try to keep this video under an hour. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. So, we're going to start off with a little Monday Night Raw. And we started off with Sami Zayn taking on Damian Priest. And what was a pretty solid opener. I do wish Zayn and Owens had some new dance partners for their feuds. But overall, this was a pretty good match. Near the end, when Sami Zayn was set up for a Helluva Kick, JD McDonough comes out, grabs Sami Zayn's ankle. That trips him up. Priest hits a South of Heaven for the victory. Now, post-match, you have JD trying to celebrate with Priest, but Priest pushes JD back, pretty much showing, oh, what are you doing about this? What are you doing here? They start fighting a little bit, but then out comes Kevin Owens. And then Owens and Zayn start a beatdown on JD McDonough. And, yeah, we're going to get a setup for something for Payback a little bit later. So then we have backstage Drew McIntyre and Akira Tozawa. They're looking at a picture. Tozawa's like, that looks great. And then he walks off. Matt Riddle comes in. He's like, hey, bro, what's going on? And then Drew finally reveals the picture. It's a picture of Drew McIntyre with Matt Riddle's tights on. And it's nightmare fuel. With Riddle pretty much saying, bruh, a tag team needs some matching gear. Or maybe, if you don't like this, we could have matching kilts. Then Drew brings up, look, Viking Raiders have a match, so does New Day. I'm going to go out there, get me a front row seat. Riddle's like, scout the competition? Scout the Raiders. So, yeah, we're going to get that a little later. Then we get LA Knight's music hit. However, it's The Miz dressed up as LA Knight. And look, I know a lot of people don't really like stuff like this. I love it. You know, superstars dressing like other superstars to insult them. That's great. It's been a thing since like the 90s. Maybe even before then. So, I do dig this. Miz then goes, starts making fun of LA Knight's catchphrase, mixing in some what, yeah, which is starting to get a little annoying. Then he takes off the jacket, takes off the glasses, then turns into Miz Serious mode, which he pretty much says, anyone can be LA Knight, anyone can have a stupid catchphrase. I'm awesome because I own it. And it's not just a catchphrase, it's the truth. And at Payback, I finally put that catchphrase to rest. Which, nice little promo from The Miz. Thank God it wasn't a Miz TV segment, because that would have gone on way too long. And so, yeah, I'm looking kind of forward to that match. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Then we get the New Day versus the Viking Raiders, in which, you know, decent little back and forth little matchup. Nothing really to write home about until Ivar throws Kofi Kingston into Drew McIntyre and Riddle at ringside. And then Drew starts picking up the commentary chairs and starts throwing them at people. He was looking to get Eric, but he moves and hits Xavier Woods right in the noodle. And apparently that caused a legit injury, which that's a shame. Yeah. I'm surprised that didn't lead to a DQ, but, end of the day, Viking Raiders hit the Ragnarok for the victory. And then post-match, Drew McIntyre chases down the Raiders, but they escape. Next, we get Judgment Day backstage. And, Finn and Damian Priest are arguing. Pretty much like, look, you need to get control of your boy JD. He's not Judgment Day. And we don't need this drama. And Finn's like, oh, what are you talking about? JD's just helping you. He wanted to. Like you helped me. And then, we get Priest. Priest and Balor face to face. Rhea comes between them, breaks them up. And in which Rhea pretty much says, look, right now we're in a weakened state, and until you two can get it together, I'm making some changes to the Judgment Day. Which, alright, that could be interesting. Yeah, Rhea has definitely turned into the leader of the Judgment Day, and I'm all for it. I am going to be interesting to see what happens with the Judgment Day overall, though. Next up, we get Kofi Kingston walking out of the trainer's office. Drew and Riddle walk up to him. They ask about Woods. Kofi says, yeah, he'll be alright. He's not going to be good for next week, but he'll recover. And then Riddle and Drew talk about taking on the Raiders next week in a tornado tag match, which that should be interesting. Next up, we got Imperium ringside with Gunther on the announce table, pretty much stating like, last week, Gable made history. He's the first man to beat me in 500 days by countout. So that's barely an accolade. He won nothing, as I'm here with the title. And Gable did achieve one thing, and it's pissing me off. Now, Gable, you have my attention. In our rematch next week, you're not going to beat me. And this week, you're not going to beat Ludwig Kaiser. That brings out the Alpha Academy with Chad Gable on the mic. And he pretty much says, look, I've refrained from shushing you. You've given me that. And that's right, you got some good points. No one has beaten you in 500 days until last week. And next week, it's going to take me 10 seconds to beat you for the title. And tonight, Kaiser, I'm going to cook you Memphis style. Which, nice little nod to the Memphis crowd, who was absolutely great this episode. And then that leads us right into Ludwig Kaiser versus Chad Gable, which I know we've seen it a ton before, but I really enjoyed these two working together. Good little back and forth action. And apparently Gunther went to the back, which is very strange, but whatever. Near the end, it looks like Chad Gable had Kaiser in Chaos Theory. Then Giovanni Vinci comes in. They beat down Chad Gable. Otis tries to get involved, but the numbers are too great. And then back out comes Gunther. He goes for the power bomb. Gable blocks it, reverses it into an ankle lock. Rest of Imperium brawl, take him out. And then Gunther hits a power bomb and leaves Jack Gable laying. So this feud is very interesting to me. Gonna be interested to see where this goes. Then we get a nice little Seth Rollins promo. Pretty much saying, I'm going to live with you. It's been a long week. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Nakamura, I give you what you want at the shot of the title at Payback. Tonight, you're going to give me what I want. And you're going to say some things to my face. And Seth waits for a second. No music. No sign of Nakamura. Then Seth says, that's a little disappointing. But Memphis, I will tell you this. I'm going to go to the local bar. And I'm going to let you sing my song. Crowd starts singing Seth Rollins' opening theme. Then Nakamura, a little promo / training on the big screen, pretty much saying, Seth, I've known about your weakness for a while now. It hurts when you hug your wife, Becky Lynch. It hurts when you hold your daughter. And this Saturday, I will break you. So, going a little, And then Seth, back on the mic, pretty much saying, that's it? You take me out with a video package? Nakamura, I've known you for so long. You've headlined the Tokyo Dome. You lit NXT on fire when you debuted. I would have given you the shirt off my back. But my back isn't standing in the way of me beating you on Saturday. And when all is said and done, you won't take a thing from me. Then we see Nakamura come into the ring and jump Seth Rollins from behind. And a kick later, Nakamura is standing over Seth with the world title. I am so happy they're giving Nakamura a shot. Will he win? Probably not, but I'm happy. Next up, we got a Sami Zayn Kevin Owens backstage promo. They pretty much saying, we're tired of dealing with the Judgment Day. It's been so long. So at Payback, you're going to get your title match. However, the rules are not in your favor. We went to Adam Pearce, and we made this a Steel City street fight. And the stuff we've been through is nothing compared on what we're going to do to you at Payback. And we're going to end this once and for all. Oh, I am looking forward to that. It's about time Owens and Zayn and Judgment Day put a stamp on this feud, because it's been going on for way too long. Let's get some fresh faces in the tag team division, and let's do something interesting with them. Next up, we got Tommaso Ciampa versus Bronson Reed, in which during Ciampa's entrance, Reed jumps Ciampa from behind on the ramp. They brawl into the ring, and the match gets started with Bronson pretty much dominating Ciampa for a bit, but then Ciampa fights back, and then it's Reed with a crucifix bomb. So your winner, Tommaso Ciampa. For that feud to end that way feels a little lackluster. But I think it's time for Ciampa to move on, and hopefully with a healed up Johnny Gargano, we finally get that DIY reunion. It's time. We then get a nice little Becky Lynch interview. Pretty much saying, yeah, tonight I'm going to whoop Zoe Stark around the arena. And I don't always do things the easy way, but I do it my way. And I'm going to bring the chaos with me. So, Becky Lynch fired up for her Falls Count Anywhere match, which we will get to. Okay. Damn it. Next up, we got Rhea Ripley and Dom Mysterio. Promo in ring, where Rhea pretty much says, Raquel Rodriguez, you definitely took me down a level. You played the injury to perfection, and I don't blame you for it. Your resume speaks for yourself, but this title proves I'm everything. You think you're going to take my title from me? But you're not Rhea Bloody Ripley. Nice fired up promo from Rhea. Then we get to Dom. It pretty much says, Mommy's walking out as champion. This brings out Raquel Rodriguez. They brawl on the ramp for a little bit. And then they bring it into the ring, where it looks like Raquel is going to powerbomb Rhea. But Dominic distracts her. Rhea leaves the ring for at least a minute. It looks like Dom's about to take a powerbomb. Then Rhea comes back in. Little chop block. From behind, they start beating her down a little bit more. But then Rhea goes for the riptide. That gets blocked. Big old clothesline from Raquel. Honestly, I'm going to say this. I'm pretty excited for this match. They had a really good encounter down in NXT. And, yeah, it looks like they're going to work pretty well tonight. We then get a little Trish Stratus promo. She calls Becky Lynch an idiot for giving Starks this match. And she's going to be the only one to blame for this. Zoe then says, yeah, I'll leave you plenty for payback. We get a nice little Terry Funk tribute. And that leads us to our main event of the evening. A Falls Count Anywhere match between Becky Lynch and Zoe Starks. And it starts off right off the bat with some heavy kendo stick shots. At one point, Trish goes under the ring to get some chairs. She throws it in the ring. It bounces and hits Zoe right in the nose, which Zoe took that like a champ. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't supposed to happen, but looks like Zoe shook that off really well. They then fight into the crowd to a production area in which it's clearly pre-set up. A couple of shots with a couple of chairs, including Trish hitting a chick kick on Zoe, making her fall through a table. Then Becky shoves Trish into another table. Zoe gets back on the two boxes. Becky hits a manhandle slam to pick up the victory. So your winner going into Payback, Becky Lynch. And then post-match, while she's a little bit in tears, she takes off the armband. BW. Bray Wyatt tribute. That's very nice by Becky Lynch. So, yeah, that was Monday Night Raw. A bit of a stinker of a go-home show, but it's fine. I'm pretty excited for Payback. This Raw wasn't too bad, but there was a lot of inconsequential stuff going on. You know what I mean? Either way, I had fun with it. Next up, again, no NWA Power. That'll probably be coming back next week. But we do have AEW Dynamite, which starts us off with Jon Moxley versus Komander in a great clashing of the styles, with Jon Moxley going ground and pound and Komander going through the air. It was a sight to behold. There was a couple points I thought Komander was going to win. Then Mox hits a pile driver, gets the hammer and anvil in for a little bit, and then hits the rear naked choke into the Jushi Katami, which the transitions on those submissions was great for Mox. But your winner, Jon Moxley. We then get a Orange Cassidy promo, which he says, yeah, I may be hurt, I may be beat up, but I'm not stopping. I'm defending this title over and over and over. And you'd think after Wembley, I'd take a break, but that's not what I do. I'm not the same Orange Cassidy I was 5 years ago, and I'll show you why. Which, nice to the point from Orange Cassidy. While I wasn't the biggest Orange Cassidy fan when he started in AEW, he's grown to be one of my favorite wrestlers of the modern age, at least. We then get a promo / vignette from the Young Bucks when they're in their locker room after their match in Wembley. They're pretty much just... Then FTR walk up, pretty much saying... They say, look, guys, we'd like to apologize for not shaking your hands after this match. This was pretty much our show. We started this in Chicago 5 years ago. And this should have been our night. We lost our cool and we apologize. You were the better men tonight. But then, in comes the entire cavalry of Bullet Club Gold. That's the Guns, Jay White, and Juice Robinson, where they're pretty much saying, look, FTR, you can stay in here. Young Bucks, you gotta go. This is the winner's room, so get lost. We're on top of the world, and the Elite are really not doing so hot. You looking for friends for next week? So how about we do Bullet Club Gold versus the Elite and FTR at All Out. So that match has been made official. So that should be a fun one, honestly. I'm looking forward to that one. We then get a Toni Storm interview, and I love this like starlit gimmick Toni Storm now has. It's great. Where she says she's happy for her friend for winning the title, but she forgot our plan, and now that she hates me, I don't really have any friends, and I don't know where to turn to. And she walks off stressing out. Renee then makes a little offhanded comment, and then we see Toni Storm throw a shoe at her from off screen. Like, this Toni Storm character is perfect for her. I cannot wait to see where this goes. Then we get a Chris Jericho promo in the ring. He says, this should have been a happy, festive moment after our AEW's success at All In. It was the greatest weekend of my career, and I had my favorite match against Will Ospreay. But there is something I would like to forget. I treated Sammy Guevara horribly, so I'd like to ask him to come out. Sammy Guevara comes out. Jericho apologizes for what he did at Wembley, and I never should have done it. But then Jericho makes a backhand comment of, but do you think you really did everything in your power and your end? And then they go back and forth like an old married couple for a little while. And then Jericho's like, wait. Let's not do this. Okay? Instead, let's reform the Sex Gods and go for the tag team titles. And Sammy Guevara reluctantly shakes on it. They do a little hug. And yeah, it looks like Jericho and Guevara are going for the tag team titles. We'll see how long that lasts. Next up, we got the New Japan Strong Openweight title as Wheeler Yuta takes on Eddie Kingston. And honestly, this was a dang good match. Although a little bit short, but I do understand. Yuta threw everything at Eddie that he could, but he couldn't keep him down. Then after a couple of spinning back fists, your winner, Eddie Kingston. Then post-match, Claudio Castagnoli comes out, collects Yuta, gets him up the ramp without even looking at Eddie Kingston. It was then set up that Yuta and Claudio will be taking on Eddie Kingston and Kazuyori Shibata at All Out, which that should be a damn good match. We then get another backstage promo from Wembley. This time it's MJF and Adam Cole. MJF complaining, look, you nearly broke my neck a couple of times out there. What happened? So then MJF reveals, look, I had a talk with Tony Khan. I'm going to take some time off. Go to Paris. Go get a massage. Go eat some brie. But then next week, at All In, we're going to defend our Ring of Honor tag team titles against the winner of a Rampage Battle Royal. We'll get to that in a little bit. Adam Cole said, yeah, no worries. Enjoy your time off. I'll be waiting for you. We then get the start of a Sammy Guevara interview, but Don Callis interrupts. Pretty much saying, look, it's been a challenge in dealing with this sociopath Jericho. But then Sammy retorts, look, Don, I know what you're doing. But who I keep as my friends and as my family are none of your business, so get lost. So Don Callis moves off. So it looks like we're going to continue the Don Callis family versus Jericho and Guevara. Unless Guevara's turning on Jericho, which, I don't know. I feel like they just turned Sammy babyface again, and it's working. So, I don't know how I feel about that. Next up, we got an Adam Cole in-ring promo. Pretty much saying, at Wembley, that was the greatest story ever told. Thank you for making that a special night in my career. MJF and I took the tag team titles. I challenged for the world title, but sadly I could not get the job done. Eventually I'll get another shot. Right now MJF isn't in great shape. He'll be ready to go for All Out. But then, out interrupting, comes Roderick Strong and the Kingdom. With Roddy getting on the mic pretty much saying, let me get this straight, Cole. You care more about MJF's neck than mine? That's messed up, man. We should be friends, not you and MJF. Then Mike Bennett gets a turn on the microphone, pretty much saying, 2010 Ring of Honor in the ECW arena. We had Cole versus Bennett, and we got each other jobs. I thought we were bonded for life. We've been through a lot together. We pick each other up and celebrate. But now you care too much about what they think, the fans. And you forgot what we did for you. You gave up on the Kingdom. You went to Bullet Club, surrounded to rake in the money with their merchandise. You surrounded yourself in Florida with yes men and you forgot about us. And now you're just standing all alone, and the only person you ever really cared about is yourself. Which, scathing little promo from Mike Bennett. Holy heck. Adam Cole retorts, you know that isn't true, and I'm sorry I made you feel that way. But I need to understand, my friend and Max right now is my best friend. And, Roddy goes off on that. And says, look, if you two are really best friends, then you wouldn't care about me entering the Grand Slam tournament where I'm going to win and defeat your little buddy MJF. Which, honestly, Roderick Strong push. I'm alright with it. And honestly, that promo by the Kingdom, nearly perfect. That was so good. We then get a Pentagon Jr. Backstage vignette. Pretty much saying, look, Mox, Cassidy, we're friends. I'm only doing this because it isn't personal. I just want to beat up Jon Moxley more. Not only am I going to beat you, Mox, I'm going to hurt you. Which, nice, short and sweet little promo from Penta. So, we'll see how that goes. That's going to be our main event. Next up, little six-woman tag team action as TBS champion Chris Statlander teams up with Hikaru Shida and Dr. Britt Baker to take on Nyla Rose, Emi Sakura, and Marina Shafir. And honestly, it was a decent matchup. There was definitely no story to this, but overall, nice back and forth. And then, after a Wednesday night fever, your winners, Chris Statlander, Hikaru Shida, and Britt Baker. And while Statlander's celebrating in the ring, Ruby Soho attacks her from behind and takes the TBS title. Which, nice little setup for their all-out match. Next up, we got a little Shane Taylor vignette revealing that he's challenging Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor TV title. Then we see Don Callis and Takeshita backstage talking strategy and Kenny showing Omega's weak points, his injuries, which, honestly, that's awesome. I love little touches like this. It works. Then we get a little promo from the Acclaimed. They have a whole thing set up. Pretty much saying, Daddy Ass is back, but I've only been gone for one day. And it was a good day for us at All In. You saw us capture the trios titles, and we're going to lift these titles with pride. However, we're going to start this reign with a ribbon cutting ceremony. Anthony Bowens has a normal pair of scissors, and Billy Gunn pretty much says, whoa, I got something better. Brings out a giant, mayoral ribbon cutting scissors, which is awesome. Snips the ribbon off. Big celebration. Max pretty much says, look, we love these titles, but they're a little bit plain. They're a little bit boring. So we bring to you the Acclaimed Trios titles. Whoop! Takes off the sheet on the podium, and it's revealed that we got Hot Pink Trios titles, which I love. I honestly love that they acknowledge this. And then they show that the belt buckle actually scissors, which honestly, this is a nice little touch from AEW, letting these guys customized their titles a little bit. Although I do wish they were different shades of pink, because I think that would have been a lot better. They then say we're going to break these in on Collision when we defend against 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. Been a while since we've seen them team up. I'm definitely excited for that. We then get a look at who's going to be in the Tag Team Battle Royal, Eliminator Battle Royal for Rampage. And then we get our main event of the evening for the International title as Orange Cassidy defends against Penta El Zero Miedo in what was an absolutely crazily paced, well thought out bout where Orange Cassidy went for the punch a couple of times, but that gets blocked by a super kick, which, dang. Penta, there was a point, like, kind of mid-match, where they would hit each other with a destroyer. The opponent would get up, hit him with it. This was definitely a crazy match. Penta hits a Fear Factor on the apron of the ring, goes for the pin, but then Orange Cassidy rolls him up. 1, 2, 3. Your winner, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. And in a bit of a rare occurrence, Cassidy unfolds a chair, sits down, has a mic, pretty much says, I don't usually do this. Right now, I'm tired. My body hurts. Every day that backpack with my title in it gets heavier and heavier. But I'm here. I'm defending this title. This means everything to me. And I will continue to defend this title as long as I am champion, because AEW gave me the shot, no one else does, and I will always be champion. I'm Orange Cassidy, and I don't have a catchphrase, which popped me off a little bit. Jon Moxley come out, and they just have a face-to-face stare down. Honestly, a very well-built show around the international title. Again, the rest seems so inconsequential, you know? I've already pretty much gonna watch All Out this weekend, but it's, I don't really have huge expectations for the show, which, it's fine. I'm sure it'll be good. Next up, we got Impact Wrestling, in which we have a battle royal to determine the new number one contender for the Knockouts title. And honestly, it starts off like any other battle royal, hard to keep up with, and just, you know, a lot of bodies hitting the floor. And then it comes down to Jody Threat and what we think is Jody Threat and Kylan King. Threat has King up over the rope. Looks like she's going to win. Then out of nowhere comes Alicia Edwards, dumps them both, and picks up the victory. So we got new number one contender for Victory Road. We then get a Motor City Machine Guns promo with Chris Sabin pretty much saying, look, Leo, I just want you another shot at your title. I'm ready to go whenever you are. And then Josh Alexander interrupts, pretty much saying, the loss at Emergence is on me. I was too focused on Macklin. And now I'm going to get I saw red when I saw Macklin. I'm going to get my emotions in check. And I'm going to take care of Macklin so I can get back to this. Pointing at the Impact title. Then Josh Alexander walks off. The Rascals walk in, pretty much saying, hey, look at us. Look at the new champions. Shelly pretty much interrupts, pretty much says, look, congratulations for winning the titles, but you two have to act like champions. This is embarrassing. How about tonight I beat your ass? Raz goes pretty much saying, yeah, sure. But for now, we have titles to celebrate. And they walk off. Then we get Alicia Edwards and Eddie Edwards celebrating backstage. Pretty much saying, look at this new power couple of Impact and Trinity. I'm coming for your title. Nice, short and sweet promo from the Edwards. We then go into this one match as Crazy Steve takes on Mike Bailey. And Crazy Steve comes out with a... he looks like Scarecrow from Dark Knight. And then during his entrance, he rips the bottom off. He's got kind of skewed face paint on. It's very, very creepy. Mike Bailey goes for the tornado kick early. It gets caught. And just then Crazy Steve goes right for the eyes. He's digging in there. Referee goes for the 5 count. And this match gets thrown out. So technically a win for Bailey. But Steve continues on his rampage. He takes out the ref. Then from nowhere, he gets a fork. He goes after Bailey. The ref stops him. Then he goes back after the ref again. In comes Black Taurus, in which, good to see him again. Taurus starts by hitting him a little bit. But then right back to the eye gouge for Steve. This brings out security. And he fights them off before going backstage. I would have liked to see that match go on a little bit more, but it's a good way to set up the new rebooted Crazy Steve. Next up, we get a backstage promo from Myers, Moose, and Edwards. Pretty much saying, at Emergence, we all got victories. And tonight, it's going to be nothing different. Then Eddie chimes in, pretty much saying, look, I know you'd have to deal with Bully. You couldn't trust him. Big difference between me and Bully is I taught Kaz a lesson. Then in comes Bully Ray, pretty much saying, look, can I talk to my friends a little bit? Eddie Edwards walks off. Look, guys, we got a problem. Moose then chimes in, look, that's the second time you ditched us because of PCO. This isn't an us problem. This is a you problem, Bully. You have that problem with PCO. And they walk off. Then we hear PCO just shouting Bully Ray's name. Next thing we know, we see Bully Ray running horror movie style from PCO. Bully Ray then puts a door between him and PCO. With Bully saying, look, Bully, you're PCO, you've gone too far. You tried to kill me. No, I tried to kill the monster. Because I care about you. No more. I need the man. Not the monster. And then Bully walks off with PCO in a less rageous state. So, we'll see what goes on from there. Next up, we got Big Con of the Design versus Eric Young in what was a very decent big guy versus little guy match. No Diener because he's selling injuries, of course. Khan blocked a pile driver attempt. Khan left EY laying on the outside, but EY beat the 10 count. EY then hits a big old pile driver to pick up the victory. Next, we get a Leo Rush promo pretty much says, Sabin, are you really sure you're ready for me? Because then why are you wrestling Wednesday night? Clearly, you're still shook from Slammiversary, and you're literally the definition of insanity, trying to do things over and over and over again, thinking it'd be a different result. Then in comes Kushida. He holds up the X from Ultimate X and just says 2 words, Victory Road. And that match gets made official for Victory Road for the X Division Championship. It's Kushida taking on Lio Rush. Then we get a Jordynne Grace vignette signaling her return to Impact for Victory Road, which definitely ready for. Then we get a Deonna Purrazzo interview, which she says, Jordynne Grace ruined my evening. I've faced setbacks before. I'm the face of the Knockouts division. I've worked hard to make that so, but Grace just wants to come in here and take my spotlight. That's not going to happen. So Grace for Victory Road. It's going to be the 2 of us once again. And honestly, that match should absolutely bang. Next up, we got Zachary Wentz versus Chris Sabin with their respective tag team partners on the outside. And it's pretty much X Division style as we want it. Lots of flip-flopping and diving. At one point, Sabin does hit Alex Shelley on accident, aiming for Trey. But then they get back in the ring. Cradle Shock, your winner, Chris Sabin. Then Trey and Zach get in the ring, beat up Wentz for a little while. But then the Rascals run off because of Shelley. Then we get a little backstage promo from the ABC. Says, congratulations to the Rascals. You did whatever it took to get the job done. And now it'll be even sweeter when we take those titles off of you. We are the greatest tag team in the world. You're just renting those titles, and rent is due. The Good Hands then interrupt, pretty much saying, look, we had nothing to do with the Rascals winning. We just have some unfinished business. And the ABC say, yeah, sure, we'll deal with you. Then we got a Subculture Santino Marella backstage promo where Subculture say they want the tag team titles back. Santino pretty much says, look, I've already booked the Guns versus the Rascals for Victory Road. Then Callahan and Swan interrupt. They want a title match as well. There's lots of screwing on going around here. So Santino makes the match, as it'll be Subculture taking on Swan and Callahan. But it doesn't end there, as Yuya Uemura and Joe Hendry interrupt, with Hendry pretty much saying, look, you gotta listen to the Impact fans. They want us getting the next title shot, and we'll be waiting. The tag division looking nice and healthy for Impact Wrestling. Gonna be interesting to see where this goes. Then we get an in-ring promo by Kenny King, pretty much running down the city what they're in. I think they're in Toronto, so that's cool. I see why you guys hate me. I took out all of your favorites, and at Emergence, I put the nail in the coffin of Johnny Swinger. I gave him a little extra afterward, and that was a message to everyone else in the back to think about never challenging me for again. And then, yes, I took out Tommy Dreamer as well. And there's only 3 letters I really care about, and that's DMC. This brings out Tommy Dreamer, who tells a little story about how 4 hours before the show, Swinger's father-in-law passed away. And then after that match, Dreamer got a call from Swinger saying he's alright, he's on his way home, and go be with your family. And where were you during all this, Kenny? You were at the bar, not watching the main event, and taking shots. And with everyone that's paved the way for you, and with the 1000th episode of Impact coming up, I didn't know you need to put this on the line. Kenny King then retorts, I didn't know about Swinger's father-in-law, and I do not care. I do what I want, when I want, how I want. And then Tommy Dreamer retorts, that's the problem with you, Kenny. You take shortcuts, and that's why you haven't main evented here. And then, since I've been 12 years old, I've always loved this business. I turned down millions from other companies because I believed in something, and I always listened. And now, with the hardest year of my life, I have my support system of fans, and I'm going to put my career on the line against you at Victory Road for the title. And that's all I have. So, that match gets made official. Career versus title. Tommy Dreamer versus Kenny King. Should be an interesting one. And we get a nice little promo from Steve Maclin, where he pretty much starts out, time is torture, and civilian wastes time, which I do not. I always watch the Battlefield on Impact, and now with Josh Alexander back, so am I. I got my target at Victory Road, and it won't just be tag 'em, bag 'em, mayhem for all. It'll be tag 'em, bag 'em, and mayhem for Macklin. So, nice little promo to end the that segment. Next up, we got a very interesting 6-man tag team match playa as Moose, Brian Myers, and Eddie Edwards take on Frankie Kazarian, Jake Something, and the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Sonata. And honestly, this was definitely a fun little matchup, especially when Kaz and Edwards were in the ring, because you could feel their hostility. Near the end, everyone pretty much hits their finishers on one another. Myers goes for the roster cut. That gets blocked right into the void for Jake Something to pick up the victory for his team in the Impact main event. And yeah, that was very, very nice. Nice way to end a really, really solid show. Next up is kind of an MLW fusion, although it was mostly hype up stuff for Alex Kane and Willie Mack. We did start off with a tribute to Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. So this Road 2 was pretty much going through the history of Alex Kane and Willie Mack, how they both started and where they are currently. Then we get replays of the Never Say Never main event, which was Alex Kane versus Hammerstone. And then the 3-way between Willie Mack, Leo Rush, and John Hennigan, which, were good matches, but, no real new content, which I'm a little sad by, but I still enjoyed Fusion. A nice little simple go-home show to Fury Road. So that is that. We then go off to Ring of Honor, where we start off with the New Japan television title as Metalik takes on Zack Sabre Jr. And honestly, this clash of styles was really, really good. You had Metalik, King of the Ropes, Lucha style, with Zack Sabre Jr. more technical and ground and pound. Finish pretty much comes after an armbar, an extended armbar submission for the victory for Zack Sabre Jr. Next up, we got a Cole Carter interview, and he's joined by Maria Kanellis. And he pretty much brings up, like, why do you have such an opportunity for Griff Garrison? Shouldn't I be your focus? Maria then retorts, it's always nice to have some friends, Cole. That's all I'm doing here. But I don't want to be in a tag team. So, looks like Griff Garrison and Cole Carter are going to be under the Kingdom's watch, which, that could be cool. We then get a very interesting match as two pretty much pure wrestlers go at it. As John Walters, making his Honor Club debut, takes on Josh the Goods Woods. And honestly, yeah, this was an absolutely great match. Very nice and technical. But then Josh Woods gets in the Worklock for the victory. We then get a nice little extended squash match between the Workhorsemen and Lee Moriarty, who is teaming with the Workhorsemen. That's interesting. To take on Invictus Cash, Lord Crew, and MLW alum Beef. Man, I can't remember the last time I saw Beef. Definitely an interesting matchup, a bit one-sided. The other team definitely got a little bit in, especially when Beef was in. But ultimately, after a stomp and a big old moonsault by J.D. Drake, holy cow. Your winners, the Workhorsemen and Lee Moriarty. Next up, we got Dustin Jackson taking on Cole Carter. And Cole Carter has Maria Kanellis in his corner. And definitely a decent back and forth bout, but a bit short as pretty much from out of nowhere, Cole Carter hits the Eye of the Beholder for the victory. Next up, bit more of an extended match as Emi Sakura takes on Alice Crowley. I believe her name is. This match was absolutely fun. I love seeing Emi Sakura back under the AEW umbrella. Nice back and forth. Then we get the corner crossbody into the Royal Backbreaker for the victory. So hopefully we do something interesting with Emi Sakura going forward, because she is a very, very talented wrestler. Next, we got a Josh Woods backbreaker. Pretty much saying, yeah, I've been getting dominant wins here on Ring of Honor since the beginning. I needed to make a change, and that request was answered. I've been down to fight since I got here. Nobody in Ring of Honor or AEW has been a national champion, and I'm the uncrowned face of the Pure Division. So, nice little short and sweet promo from Josh Woods. Hopefully he gets his rematch against Shibata soon. Next up, little tag team action players. That's the Outrunners, making their Ring of Honor return. Take on the Spanish Announce Projects team of Serpentico and Angelico. And honestly, this match was really, really good. I'm going to say go give it a watch because it was a lot of fun. Lots of good back and forth. A lot of good posing from the Outrunners. But then, after a dive into an ankle lock, your winners, the Spanish Announce Project. Which, alright, I would like to see the Outrunners win there, but, you know, we'll get something out of the Outrunners soon, hopefully. Next up, we got Angelica Risk taking on Marina Shafir in what was a pretty much squash match where Shafir pretty much dominated except for a little stretch. But then after a triangle choke, your winner, Maria Shafir. And fine a la Mo. We got our main event of the evening for the 6-man tag team titles as the Embassy, that's Brian Cage, Bishop Khan, and Toa Leona, take on Lee Johnson, Darius Martin, and Action Andretti. Brian Cage hits an F5 on one of them to start off the match, but that only gets a 2 count. Lots of really good back and forth. Powerhouses doing their thing. But then you got the little speedy guys who are really outrunning them for most of the match. It looked like Andretti was going to pick up the victory, but then that gets countered into a big triple powerbomb for the victory. And still, Ring of Honor Tag Team 6-man Tag Team Champions, the Embassy. Bit more of a filler episode of Ring of Honor TV this week, but ultimately, I enjoyed myself. Next up, we got SmackDown, and we start off with a John Cena promo, in which it's been a while since we've seen Cena in the WWE ring, pretty much thanking the fans for everything that the fans given him, giving me my moment in the sun. So at Payback, I'll be the guest host. Gonna be traveling to India to compete there for the first time in my career. And I'll do my best to give back. And that starts tonight with a big old SmackDown. And before John Cena can go any further, out comes Jimmy Uso with some new music, which kind of bops, honestly. Then Jimmy picks up the mic, pretty much says, "John, what are you doing here? These people didn't come to see you. They came to see me. And they keep asking me, why, Jimmy, why? And it's simple. I wanted to save my brother. I love Jay. And the funny thing is, I didn't want Jay to be corrupted like Roman or you, Cena. This is my ring. You and Roman are exactly alike. You take, and the only difference is you do you with a smile." And I wanted to say, this is Cena. The wrong Uso quit. Ooh, that hit Jimmy so hard, looked like he was going to walk off. Attempts a super kick. Cena blocks it right into the attitude adjustment. In which Jimmy John Cena feud. That could be interesting. But I guess we'll see. We then get an interview with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Theory bringing up that he beat Cena at WrestleMania. And tonight we're going to prove to the LWO who the greatest tag team of all time is. And then we go right into that match as LWO members Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio take on Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. And honestly, I'm going to say this. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller work really, really well together as a tag team. I feel like they should stay together. Like, they worked absolutely beautifully together. Looks like Ray's about to hit a Rana on Waller. Theory with a chop block. Right into a stunner from Grayson. So your winners, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Next up, you see Mia Yim talking with Adam Pearce. And then Jimmy Uso interrupts. Pearce has been saying, look, since the show started, you've just been rude to the cast and crew. What's going on with you? Then Jimmy just says, that's it. And then Jimmy walks off. Then we see Mia Yim talking with the Good Brothers, pretty much saying, with Carl Anderson pretty much saying, look, we don't need to involve ourselves in bloodline matters. This doesn't mean anything. Styles interrupts, says, it is a big deal to me. Don't worry, I'll handle this. We then get a Bobby Lashley in-ring promo. Pretty much says, look, I got a little business to handle tonight. And everyone's been asking the same question. What's going on with you and the Profits? And there's a simple answer. Real recognizes real, and I recognize the Street Profits. This brings out the Profits. They pretty much saying, look, we just want to thank you for turning our careers around. And we got 2 words for you. Thank you. Lashley says, don't thank me just yet. Thank me with your continued success. And we're here to put everyone on the WWE roster on notice. We're coming for it all. Then Kevin Owens' music hits. Street Profits and Lashley are looking to leave. Sami Zayn's music hits. And they just kind of pass each other. So a little tease for Street Profits versus Owens and Zayn. That should be a fun one. We then get a nice little tag team match playa as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn take on Cruz del Toro and I forget the other dude's name. Joaquin Wilde of the LWO. It's been a while since we've seen those two in the ring, so I'm pretty happy with that. This was pretty much an extended squash match, which ended with a haluva kick and a stunner. So your winners, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Zayn then picks up a microphone and says, little message to the Judgment Day. Tomorrow won't be fun for everyone. Tomorrow's going to be the fight of your lives. And bring everything you want. So, nice little promo by Sami Zayn. We then get Jimmy Uso walking backstage. Looks like he's going to leave. Styles gets in his face. Pretty much says, look, you disrespected Mia. You're now on your own. And we're going to handle business. They start brawling a bit. And out of nowhere, Solo Sikoa takes out AJ Styles. And then Solo stands over Jimmy, pretty much saying, you're out of the bloodline when we say. Jimmy then stands up, pretty much tells Solo, neither you, Roman, or Paul can tell me anything. We then get a AJ Styles interview, pretty much thinking, look, the Bloodline think they run WWE, they do not. And I want Solo Sikoa tonight. Good Brothers and Mia Yim are trying to talk him out of it. Nah, because tonight I'm going to show the Bloodline why SmackDown is the house that AJ Styles built. And honestly, a match like that should be a fun one. We then get a little Miz versus LA Knight face-off, where Miz starts off with, tomorrow night, Knight is competing in the biggest match of his career, and it's not insulting, it's just facts. You saw me on Monday on how easy it is to be LA Knight. He's not on my level. Then LA Knight comes out to the biggest pop of the night. Alright, Miz, you're playing dress up again. Down the line? Let's go down the line. You're dressed up as Rock. I've completely forgotten about that. John Cena, and now LA Knight. Yeah. And what do all three of those people have in common? Besides filling out more of your clothes. Miz retorts, you're a wannabe. Anyone can easily be Knight. I dug myself out of the sewers. I did every dirty job I could. I did it all. You wouldn't last a day in my boots. And you're right. I'm not on your level because I'm above your level. And I'm going to ride the elevator to success. And I succeed because I'm smart. I took advantage. I carry you carry Maurice's bag, which has your little tiny schmecker in it. And send your wife my regards, because after tomorrow, I'm going to leave her with a broken husband, and she's going to feel empty inside, but I can fix that real quick. Miz retorts, everybody loves you. These people are failures. That's why they see themselves in you. They settle for mediocrity. I've had setbacks too, but I never gave up. I'm a success, and I am the wrong superstar for you. I'm a human time traveler. And then LA Knight says, I don't know how to quit. You live in the past. I'm living me. Your present is trash. Your future is worse. And at Payback, I'm going to show you whose game it really is. And everyone's going to say it with me. LA Knight. Yeah. LA Knight goes to leave. Miz tries an attack on Knight, but that misses. He then takes off his jacket, throws it right in his face, hits a skull-crushing finale. And as Miz looks to go, LA Knight gets right back up, runs Miz down on the ramp, and just continues the beatdown. So, this match should be a really good one. Next up, we got Bayley taking on Shotzi. Now, of course, Bayley has damage control in her corner, but Shotzi gets some good stuff in here. Oh, and also she, spiked her hair, which, honestly, I loved her green hair, but this shit looks even cooler. Good little back and forth for a little while. It looks like Io is going to get involved. Then out comes Charlotte Flair. Because why not? She takes out Io. Looks like Dakota Kai is going to do something. But she begs off because she's still hurt. Not ready for active competition. And after a big old DDT, your winner, Shotzi. So, nice big old win for Shotzi. I would have liked to see her do it on her own instead of having to rely on Charlotte, but it is what it is. And finally, for SmackDown, it's our main event of the evening as AJ Styles takes on Solo Sikoa. And I'm going to say this, while not absolutely perfect of a match, these two are great opponents. They worked really, really well together. Styles looks for the Styles Clash that gets countered into a backdrop. Solo was going for the spike for a minute, but that gets countered. Styles looks for the Phenomenal Forearm, but out of nowhere, Jimmy Uso comes down, grabs his leg. That stops him. Big old elbow from Solo. Then the Samoan spike for the victory. Now, post-match, Jimmy gets in the ring with Solo. They hug for a minute. Then, with Solo looking forward, He sees Jimmy, strikes him in the head once, goes for the spike, but then Heyman stops him. Pretty much saying, look, it ain't worth it. Let's leave him be. And they leave. And then Jimmy hits AJ Styles with a super kick and a Uso splash. So, I'm gonna say this. I think with Roman on hiatus and Jay out of the company, you kind of got left with these leftovers. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Jimmy, I like Solo. They kind of feel like secondary characters, as does a lot of the WWE roster. And I think this is a problem WWE have had for years. Just putting all their eggs in one basket, with everyone else kind of feeling lesser. So hopefully that changes soon and we get something else going forward with SmackDown now that the Bloodline is on hiatus, which is interesting. And finally, we've got AEW Rampage, and we got a tag team battle royal where the winner gets a shot at the Ring of Honor tag team titles. I'm not going to go over everything that happened, but your winners, very surprising winners, it's Alex Reynolds and John Silver of the Dark Order. And they will face Adam Cole, baby, and MJF at All In. And post-match, we got Aussie Open talking smack to Chris Jericho, who has been on commentary. Aussie Open start brawling with Jericho, and then Sammy Guevara makes the save. So, looks like we're going to get Aussie Open versus Les Sex Gods in the near future. So, that should be a fun one. We then get a promo from Mike Santana, pretty much saying, let me tell you this story here. Take you back to 4 months after my debut for AEW. My dad passed away, and everything I ran from came crashing back. And then 2 years later, I came back for the infamous Blood and Guts match. And then after that match, my career took a pause, and now I'm back here, and I'm willing to take a walk with you on this journey, as I have a story to tell. So, looks like Mike Santana is rolling solo from Ortiz for a bit, which I'm cool with that. Maybe they'll have something interesting for Ortiz to do. Next up, we got a very interesting tag team match as Nick Wayne teams with El Hijo del Vikingo, which definitely interesting partners to take on Kip Sabian and Gringo Loco. And honestly, this was about as high-flying as you can get with a couple of these luchadors. Nice little back and forth for everyone. Then after El Wayne's World and a 630 splash in which I don't know how Vikingo can do that. So your winners, Vikingo and Nick Wayne. We then get a QTV segment where we see Johnny TV, aka John Hennigan, pretty much revealing, while QT Marshall is out there defending his AAA Latin America title, I'm going to be in charge of QTV from now on. And we're going to dig up so much dirt on everyone. And we're going to be making some big changes around here. So, I will say I'm not the biggest fan of the QTV thing. But maybe with John Hennigan at the helm, we could see something. Next up, a very interesting matchup as Hangman Adam Page takes on Brian Keith. This is my first look at Brian Keith. I'm not super familiar with him. Apparently he is a bounty hunter, which, interesting gimmick. It was kind of cowboy versus cowboy. And honestly, Brian Keith definitely showed out on this episode. He didn't look very out of place. But then, after a buckshot lariat, your winner, Hangman Adam Page. Which, hopefully this means Adam Page is getting built back up to the world title division. But we'll see. Then we get a backstage interview with Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker. Pretty much saying, for this Saturday, the plan is plain and simple. We took a back seat to Jericho and became a big nothing. Now, this is home. We're better off without the leather pants. And I'm ready to become a rep. And then Matt Menard interrupts Daniel Garcia saying, No. The only thing that matters now is taking the trios titles. So that should be a fun one. Then we get a very odd Roderick Strong promo interview where Renee Paquette asks him questions about Adam Cole. He pretty much says, yeah, this is between me and Adam. Adam knows what he did. Renee tries asking him another question. Pretty much says, look, I don't appreciate the way you're talking to me like this. It feels like I'm on trial. But in the future, I'm going to tell the story in my own time, in my own way. So, I'm starting to dig this story a little bit more. Strong has been a very strong promo, and with him with the Kingdom, I think it could be pretty interesting. And finally, our main event for the week, we get a tag team match playa, as it's Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale taking on Taya Valkyrie and Anna Jay. And honestly, this was a lot of fun. Sky Blue and Anna Jay working real well at the kind of small athletic bits, and then Willow and Taya with doing the kaiju stuff. Like, this was a really, really good matchup. Finish came with Doomsday Device that gets blocked, super kick, but then the second one from Anna Jay to Taya gets eaten by Taya. Super kick, Code Blue, your winners, Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue. Where post-match you see Taya attack Sky Blue. So, definitely going to be some interesting beats here. Very, very fun week of wrestling. Although some felt a little lesser than others. But I had a good time. I hope you all did too. Coming up soon, I think I'm going to be doing like next Wednesday, because I got some plans this weekend. I'll do my reviews for Payback, All Out, and Fury Road. So I hope you stay tuned for that. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.